What's going on, guys? Phil Daru back again with another video. Today I'm going to be going over my peaking cycle for this meet that I'm getting ready for in February. Today's a bench press day, so it's 6 weeks out. So right now is primarily based off accumulation. So this whole week is going to be a little bit more volume, but the intensities are going to be somewhat high. So what we're doing today is going to be a pause press. We're going 4x5 with 295. It's sitting around 80% of my 1 RM. Then we're gonna do a pause press with top bands. So basically, I'll be getting a little bit of help from the bottom position, and then as I go to press, the bands are gonna be let off. I'm gonna do that with 350, so it's a somewhat of an overload to an extent, right? It's the first time I'll have 350 in my hands from this entire meet prep, but at the end of the day, I'm looking to get somewhere around a 395 bench or maybe a 405 bench, so we'll see, okay? Pause press with the close grip, in my opinion, if you want to develop a better bench press, doing a close grip bench press is definitely going to help. All right, I'm going to do that with 275, 3x4. Then I'll go into my accessories. I'm going to do a seal row with the bench groove, and I'll show you what that means. And then we're going to do some dumbbell rows, 3x10. All right, just trying to get more volume into the back, into the posterior chain to help with the pressing power, but also to balance out my body. So let's get to it. All right, so before I like to bench, I make sure that I'm warming up my shoulders. So good thing about this shoulder rock here, made by Chris Duffin, it allows me to use my shoulders, mobilize my shoulders, and then also strengthen my scap, right? So with the movement of the bench, you'll see that I need to set my scap in place. I need to have strong shoulders so I can pull the bar off and make sure that I have it tight in my hands. So with the shoulder rock here, it kind of activates the muscles needed to do the bench press. So gonna do about 3x10 here, 3 sets of 10 on each side. Then I'll get into some triceps. I'll do a little bit of back just to warm my body up. If you've seen my video before, when I went down to Miami, you've seen I did a lot of volume before I actually got onto the bench. Now, you could say that's probably like a pre-exhaustion type movement, like something like what bodybuilders would do. But for me, I developed that overall work capacity through time. So if you're first starting, I wouldn't recommend you actually going and doing a whole bunch of volume before you go and max effort lift. Obviously, that's not going to be conducive to what you're trying to accomplish from an adaptation standpoint. But if you have the fitness, if you have the work capacity, by all means, if you want to go ahead and warm your body up, I've seen tremendous increases in my overall strength. And then also, I mitigate injury that way. So here we go. So when I do these extensions, I'm not looking to go into absolute failure. I'm just trying to get blood into the muscle, right? So I can activate it to produce force, right? In order for me to do that, I have to make sure that I'm not going overboard. I'm not trying to, it's not max effort, or it's not, I shouldn't say it's not max volume or high intensity. It's just basically getting blood into the muscle. That's it. Same thing with the band pull aparts. I'm trying to activate my scapula, same concept as the shoulder rock, but here I'm able to actually fully protract, retract, and then pull the band apart, activating my rear delts, my traps, okay? The muscles back there in the scapula, so that I can get that going on the bench and set it in place so that I don't hurt my shoulders, and also I can maximize my force production. So I'm just about to start my working sets. Like I said, 4 sets of 5, 295s on the bar, right? Notice how I set up. I'm actually trying to set my scap. I'm trying to drive my chest up as high as I can to create that arch, but I'm also making sure that my glutes, my legs are tight, so I'm producing force from my entire body, not just my chest or my delts or my triceps. it's a whole body movement. So here we go. So notice I have to pause at the bottom. I'm actually letting it settle and then I'm exploding up. That's more for competition usage because they are gonna make me pause at the bottom and I'm gonna have a press command off my chest. The good thing about that also, it increases rate of force production. It increases the ability to produce force from a static position. So we're gonna keep this rolling. Let's make it happen. So notice on the last one, I'm leaving it out there a little bit longer because I want to actually maximize my ability to maintain stability in that end range or in that lockout position, because in the past, I've had a problem with just re-racking it automatically and I'll get red lighted for that in a competition. So in my mind, I'm going to actually hold it out there for a little bit longer so that I don't do it in competition. So when you're done with your last rep, make sure you hold it out there and for about a second or two, and then you can re-rack it or have your partner re-rack it for you. So we had 350 on there. I decided to chip it up 355 just because it feels light today. Bands do help a lot, but at the end of the day, we're trying just to feel the weight at the top position and then letting off at the top so I can use my triceps to explode through the movement, right?
Yeah.
So last supplemental lift, we're doing closer grip bench, okay? Try to get my index fingers on the edge of the inside knurling, right? Basically right now we're working the long head of the tricep, working on that lockout power, right? Want to work on the tricep here more than anything, not so much up here, but at the end range, so we can produce that force at lockout, right? That's primarily where you see a lot of lifters miss a lift, is at the lockout position. Some may lift off the chest or in mid-range. For me, it's mid-range to lockout. The good thing is I am pretty strong in my lockout due to the fact that throwing punches for years, doing this over and over and over again, volume, throwing punches like that because I fought and things like that. So I'm used to doing it. Another good supplemental lift for this would be a floor press or a football bar bench press, right? Where you're actually having to come down mid-range and you press up. You can do a board press too as well, where the board sits off your chest and you're pressing through here, right? I'm actually getting a full range of motion, so I'm actually hitting the anterior delt, right? And then I'm driving through, having to get full lockout of the tricep. All right, so with the seal row, I have a chest support, so I'm not putting stress on my low back. I'm keeping it in that groove of the bench press. So even though it's a row, the range of motion is just like my bench press. So I'm gonna come up right to the sternum, right? I'm gonna bring it down, full extension, and I'm gonna pull and squeeze with my lats, retraction and depression of my scap. So we'll come in here, we're pulling through, and we're bringing it back out. I'm getting that full rotation, all right? That full protraction, retraction, depression of my shoulder so I can get that full range of motion to build as much muscle back there as possible, keeping time under tension. Now I use this a lot, not just for myself, for powerlifting, but also for grapplers, for my MMA guys and girls. It's a good way to, activate the lats, activate the muscles of the back without putting any stress on the low back, right? Whenever you do a row without a chest support, you obviously have to tighten up your core, tighten up your low back. You're getting isometric tension there. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Sometimes you need to do that, and we do that. But when you're just trying to maximize your potential to have contraction in the lats, in the rhomboids, back there, in the upper back, it's a good way to do it, especially if your low back's a little taxed. And with the arch on the bench, I'm in isometric tension there because I'm actually squeezing my low back and I'm squeezing my glutes. So my low back my mid and low back are a little tight, and that's a good thing because I know that I was actually staying tight in my posterior chain as I'm going to press. So just a little bit of 2 cents on why I'm doing this right now.
Energy.
Now, if you notice, I'm keeping my front foot in front with the same arm that's rowing. The reason why I'm doing that is so it eliminates me having to almost cheat and get rotation in my trunk. So when I go to put my foot in front, it stops the rotation because my hip is guarding that. So I'm locking it down, creating a bias. So as I go to row, right, I'm straight up and down. If I didn't do that, a lot of people you see, they try to jerk the weight and they're rotating and they're actually working their trunk rotators. What I'm trying to do is I'm actually just trying to pinpoint my lats. So put the foot in front to block that rotation. That's why we're doing it. All right, so that was a wrap. Day one of peaking phase, accumulation week, right? Each week's gonna be undulated. So today was that accumulation week, got the bench done. Felt really good, felt fast, felt strong. Weight felt light in my hands, which is good. And bicep tendonitis did not flare up too bad, so that was a good thing. So we're gonna keep this thing going. If you have any questions, you know what to do, hit the comments below. Also make sure you go ahead and hit the notifications when those videos come out. And then also hit subscribe if you like this video so you can see more each and every week. Thanks for watching. Also, check out my new series on grappling ground control, right? BJJ Strength and Conditioning Program starting now. If you check the link below, you'll get full access to that. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.